Ariel Cohen, do you see this as President Zelensky now piping down, realizing things had gone horribly out of control? He always knew he couldn't carry on this fight without American weapons and support. The game of brinkmanship, he's blinked.
In my book, he misread who President Trump is. He misread the geopolitical priorities of the Trump administration. He made a huge mistake, both in communication and in pushing his points too far. And he did not paddle back enough. He needed to apologize. I know several people in whose opinion he should have made an apology to Trump. He needs to understand the global pecking order, at least how Mr. Trump perceives it. Mr. Trump is on top, and President Zelensky is lower than Mr. Trump. And he needed to communicate that to NATO and Fox. He missed that opportunity. And as long as he is not rebuilding the relationship, and honestly, I'm not sure if he can. I don't know if he's going to resign or call new elections or do something else. But Europe by itself, in and of itself, does not have the military industrial capacity to supply to Ukraine what Ukraine needs to at least continue fighting Russia to a stalemate in such a way that Russia will agree to a peace that is acceptable to Ukraine. And secondly, without the United States, security guarantees are not possible. And clearly, Mr. Trump is not willing to articulate what kind of security guarantees he is willing to provide. And Europe did not specify if it can, or it didn't say that it can send at least 10 brigades with a nuclear umbrella that are necessary to keep Ukrainian security intact in the future.
So you think that is what it will take? Tatiana again has a big smile on her face, but I'm going to come to you in a moment, Tatiana, because I want to get Sushant Sareen also to weigh in. 10 brigades and a nuclear umbrella, that clearly is not happening. Does Europe have the stomach? I have Sajid Tarar joining me from the United States of America. Sajid Tarar, welcome on India Today. Give me a moment to come to you, sir. Sushant Sareen, should President Zelensky have furiously backpedaled? Yes, things got out of control, but furiously pedaled back. But then he has to get back to Ukraine, and he can't get back to Kiev unless he has the security guarantees. If he signed that deal and went back with nothing, he couldn't have survived in Ukraine.
Gaurav, there was going to be no security guarantee that was going to be given. I think the Americans had made it quite clear. What they were willing to offer is a kind of a security guarantee that, look, if we invest in Ukraine, if our people are going to be present in Ukraine, whether it's for, exploiting the mineral resources in Ukraine in partnership with the Ukrainians, whatever it might be, that will ensure that nobody will attack Ukraine. Now, that was the assumption. Zelensky clearly wanted to enter into the NATO or a NATO kind of a security umbrella through the back door, which is why he was asking for those kind of security guarantees. Now, if the security guarantees are that the Europeans are now going to send, as I think Mr. Cohen was talking about, 10 brigades with a nuclear umbrella, this is exactly what Trump is trying to avoid. He says that, look, you're gambling with the Third World War, and I'm not interested in it. This piece of real estate is just not worth it. I'm obviously paraphrasing, but essentially it amounts to that.
Okay.
And the Europeans then need to ask themselves, Gaurav, this is important, that even if they're willing to back the Ukrainians completely, the Europeans need to ask themselves, till now, one of the grouses that Trump had against his European allies was that they are mooching off the United States. Are the Europeans now going to start spending 4-5% of GDP to build up their military sinews and their military industrial complex? Because that means that this very nice, comfortable life which they had, taking 2 months off, holidays and roaming around the world while other people work their butts off, the Europeans can't do that anymore. Are they ready for that kind of a world?
And do they have the wherewithal for it?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then living this very nice life and pontificating to the rest of the world on
Okay.
how the rest of the world should be much more enlightened and much more nicer, etc., etc. I think that time is gone.
Yes.
So let's wake up, smell the coffee, and move forward. Unless, of course, somebody has a death wish, and then there's very little you can do about it.
Do they want to do the kamikaze act in the 21st century? Clearly.